In the quiet Hollywood winter of the late 1930s, the spotlight followed her as if she had been born for it. Hedy Lamarr, the dark-eyed, classically featured seductress, stood under the glare of the spotlights before the cameras as photographers whispered, "She is the most beautiful woman in the world." But what no one knew at that moment was that behind that captivating face lurked a storm of thought, a restless mind, and eyes that saw Hollywood as nothing more than a temporary mask for something greater. Hedy was born in Vienna in 1914 to a banker father and a pianist mother. She disassembled and reassembled pocket watches. Her father took her on nightly walks through the city streets, explaining to her the mechanics of traffic lights, the workings of trains, and the secrets of electricity. He would tell her, "Beauties walk through the world with half its power. You will walk with all your power if you combine beauty with brains." A few years later, she found herself on the Vienna stage, and then in front of European cinema cameras. She was known for her beauty before her voice reached American screens. When she crossed the Atlantic to Hollywood, she became a legend. She played the role of the mysterious seductress, the woman everyone dreamed of, but behind the scenes, she would escape to her room and sit at a small table covered in paper and small metal tools. World War II was knocking at the door, and the seas were filled with German submarines. She saw pictures of American ships destroyed by torpedoes and saw the helplessness in the eyes of officers as she attended official receptions. One night, she said to herself, "My role can't be limited to smiling for the camera while the world burns." At a lavish soiree, she met the composer and musician George Antheil, who had strange ideas about mechanics and experimental music. She sat with him in a secluded corner, not talking about her roles or the stars, but about war, radio, and submarines. Suddenly, she asked a question that took him by surprise. "Why don't we prevent submarines from intercepting our radio signals? What if we could constantly change the frequency so the enemy wouldn't pick it up?" This wasn't the talk of a movie star. It was the talk of an engineer whose mind was ahead of its time. The two began secret experiments on a wooden table in her home, using Antheil's piano as a prototype. Hedy's idea, while seemingly simple, was in essence astonishing. Frequency switching, meaning a radio channel jumps between multiple frequencies in an agreed-upon pattern, making it impossible for the enemy to hack or jam. In 1942, they patented her invention without much fanfare. The U.S. Navy looked at her with disdain. "A movie star who wants to teach us about war?" Hedy smiled and continued acting, while her invention was placed on an unused shelf, like a forgotten novel. Little did she know then that what she had created would become the seed for technologies that would change the world, from military communications to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and satellites. Years passed, and the spotlight of fame gradually faded. Hedy would sit on her balcony, watching the planes in the sky and smiling to herself. "I once knew how to control the sky and the sea together, and they didn't."